Thanks for having me. This round really, I think, just gives us financial freedom as a company. So we're going to be able to go and really execute on the long-term opportunity in the space and not have to worry about, thinking about our next round of funding. This bridges us to profitability and allows us to time an IPO at the time that's ideal for us as a company.
Well, so talk to us a little bit about the competitive landscape, because on one hand, you're competing with Google. The other hand, there are these companies like Asana, which are obviously smaller. But this is, if you look broadly at the space, a pretty crowded one. How are you working to make sure you differentiate and hold on to and grow your customer base when you have giants like Google increasingly focused on this space as well?
Yeah. I think on one hand, you have these project management players like Asana, Smartsheet, Monday.com. And then on the other hand, you have these low-code app platforms, ServiceNow, Salesforce App Cloud. And Airtable is the company that uniquely straddles that chasm. So we have a really low floor so we can get adopted by bottoms-up end users within organizations. We have people at more than 300,000 organizations that use Airtable today, including 80% of the Fortune 100. But then we also scale up to these more complex department-level processes. So we really kind of rival the low-code app platforms. And no other company really does that. So it's really about the range that we can play in.
But so when you think about growth, you said over 300,000 companies are using Airtable. Is the growth going to come from getting those customers to add more services? Is it about broadening what it is that you offer your customers, or is it about adding more companies?
So it's really about adding more seats across almost every company out there. We think this is a huge, huge category. Almost every single knowledge worker could be a customer of Airtable, in the future. And so, today we're at 9 figures of revenue. Our enterprise revenue is growing at faster than 100% year on year. And we're seeing a lot of expansion from our existing accounts with an NDR of greater than 130%. And that's just from more and more departments, teams within every company adopting Airtable. So at some of our larger customers like Netflix, Nike, et cetera, we have thousands of people across many different departments using Airtable for novel use cases.
Now, Howie, as you look at your future, I know that this big round, buys you a lot of time. But as you think about eventually going public, you're valued at over $11 billion. How does the recent decline in the prices of some of these software stocks impact your outlook on when and how you're going to want to go public?
Yeah, I think, we certainly watch the public markets, but part of the luxury of being able to kind of own our own, financial destiny is that, we can really focus on the long term. And we feel very, very confident that in the long term, there's a huge, huge category that's ripe for the taking. We think we have a really strong story about how we can win this space. Again, because of that high ceiling, we can beat the competition and ultimately own the biggest chunk of this enterprise opportunity. So the short answer is, we don't have to rush an IPO. We can really get the story right and go out and go public once we've shown that we're winning this category.
Well, thanks for joining us today to talk about this big raise, $11 billion plus valuation. Howie Liu, CEO of Disruptor 50 company Airtable.